YouTube fam, it's your favorite girl Jay Shara coming back to you with yet another reaction video. Today I'm going to be looking at yet again another Club Shay excerpt from Shannon Sharpe's podcast. I'm going to be looking at one of Terry Crews's interviews, and not just the whole interview. We're specifically going to be diving into and breaking down the excerpt regarding him being sexually harassed and groped by one of Hollywood's top executives. So before we get into that, just make sure you hit that subscribe button, tap that notification bell, and follow your favorite girl on Instagram at jshar with an H at the end. Let's get into it.
You turned down the expendable 4 roles because of an assault and because you refused to withdraw the petition of the civil suit. Was that difficult for you, or were you standing on, as they say, not business but principle?
It was extremely difficult because I love those guys, man. We did this together. You know, Randy Couture, Dolph Lundgren, Sylvester Stallone. I call him my dad in the business. He was like, man, I'm gonna put you in this thing. And then when the 4th one came, I mean, the producer told me, you ain't gonna be in it if you don't drop this case. I said, come on, man. I said, what kind of game are you playing? Now, remember, I already been manipulated by the NFL. I'll never forget when I had to go home on that Monday and had to bring back my playbook.
Right.
So you can get rid of me anytime you want. You know what I mean? But this was my terms. This is my Barry ain't going back. You know what I mean? This is me like, no, I'm not gonna nod my head yes and mean no. I mean no this time.
Right.
And I love those guys, man. Jason Statham, all of them. And I hope we can do something together in the future.
I've never even seen
and it
the
ain't their fault.
Expendables.
You know what I mean? But
let alone
it was just things I have to say. Remember now, like I said, if I'm doing it, you got to know I've already counted all the costs. All the costs. And I've done many, many things for free, but that meant more to me than the things I got paid a lot of money on.
How difficult was it to come out? Because you said a Hollywood exec groped you. Yeah. And that's not easy for a man, especially a man of your stature.
Right.
And then all of a sudden the fabrications of the stories that started being fabricated about you. Yeah. Did you think, because you said anytime you come out with something, you've already calculated the risk and the cost of whatever you're going to say or do. Did you think you would get the kind of blowback because I don't think a whole lot of people believed you.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be strange. First of all, if it hadn't happened to me and I heard it, I'd have been like, man, what is this dude talking about? That's why I never got mad. I couldn't get mad at people going, man, what are you doing, man? Big ass Terry Crews.
Right.
But see, I'd already been through probably 8 years of therapy, me and my wife rebuilding, me understanding what true power was, me understanding that it wasn't about how hard you see, you got to understand, in the NFL, road rage works. Yeah. That works.
Yeah.
But in real life, go to jail. Real life, hey man, you do what you did on the NFL football field, you do what you did in MMA, you going to jail, straight to jail. Jail full of cats that was like, I ain't taking that.
Right.
And I realized, because my wife made me promise, she said, Terry, because she, I used to have hair trigger and temper and be fighting people, and she was like, man, what are you doing?
Too much.
She's like, we're going to lose everything. You can't do this. You got a son now. And the son was my last one. That's my 5th. She's like, you want to be able to show him, you want to be able to be there for him, but you acting like this? And I realized something. And I said, man, there's much more power in thinking your way out of situations than fighting your way out of them. And this was blew me away. It's because my wife was right there. And I remember we went home and I was like, this is bullshit. I was like, I can't believe this. She said, Terry. She said, ain't a woman in your life ain't been through that shit. Okay. Wow. And she said, now what you gonna do? Right. He said, because we can't fight our way throughout this stuff. He said, your daughter, your mother, me, been places where you just had to eat it. I said, you're right. And I said, you know what though? I said, I'm going to do it the other way. I'm going to sue him. And she said, there you go.
You're gonna what?
I'm going to do it the other way. I'm going to sue him.
Oh, okay.
And she said, there you go. And I'm going to tell you how to do it. Wow. My wife was right there with me. And she said,
That's awesome.
you tell what happened and you show people this could happen. And I remember, I said, hey man, size ain't got nothing to do with it. First of all, if you did it, I mean, look, it's like saying I'm too big to get shot. Well,
Actually, you the perfect size.
you see what I'm saying? Hey, well, if the bullet hit,
Yeah.
what, you know what I mean? No, I'm big, I'm giant. My chest was so,
Right.
no, that went right through. I'm standing there and it happened.
Yeah.
Just if I acknowledge, if I don't say nothing, that don't mean it didn't happen.
Correct.
So what does that mean? But now I said, hold up. Because they were telling me that he could get away with it, he could do it. This is my agency, man. I paid y'all millions of dollars, man, millions. And of course, I'm sitting here going, I'm on the black side of this thing, so I'm going, yo, wait a minute. Now, would you be doing this to your white clients? I'm going, I said, so what is going on? Why is this dude still there?
Right.
And they said, well, they thought I was trying to do some money, like give me a money grab. Or I said, no. I said, I don't want no money, but he got to go.
He needs to.
You
pay
don't
for
get to
his
touch the
crimes.
clients.
Like,
You don't get to do that. And all of a sudden they were like, no, he gets to stay. He's a partner. I was like, all right, we going to, and dude, I spent $500,000 of my own money. But how many women have that?
right.
How many people have that?
Excellent point.
How many? I was in the position, like I said, how many? I get to have that because I got that kind of money. But for me, I would have spent $1 million to win $1. And I said to my wife, and my wife was like, go ahead, Terry. She said, this is how you fight. Not with your fists, but you think your way through this thing. And you know what? They finally came up with it and finally, because this is the thing. When you do stuff like that, you don't rob the biggest bank in the place. You rob a whole bunch of little ones. And all these people came out the woodwork, man.
Right.
Like nobody knows about that joined my case. They were like, yeah, he did this to me too. Yeah, he did this. He was coming. I said, this dude.
Sick.
And all of a
And then they
sudden,
had to eat.
they were like, hey, Terry, guess what? We're going to fire him and we're going to give you all your money back. How about that? I said, cool.
All the money that y'all done took in from them fees, I
Yep.
need that.
All that. Give me my money back.
Okay.
Thank you.
See ya.
And I moved on.
Right.
But see, remember, it's not about revenge.
Right.
It's about, but this is the thing, men, and this is one thing I want every man out there to know, is that you worth it. Because you can discount yourself, like, oh man, it wasn't no thing, it ain't no thing. But this is the thing, how I had to look at myself. I have a little picture of myself when I was 10 years old on my desk. And I said, man, what if somebody had messed with that little kid? What would you do? That's you. Take care of you. Take care of you.
That's gonna make
Really.
me cry.
Don't let nobody treat that little boy like he's worth less.
Facts.
Because that little boy is me.
Facts.
And that's the same thing. I think every man needs to understand who he really, really is. And the thing is, doesn't mean beating people up.
Right.
Doesn't mean swinging a bat, shooting
is
up
this
the
making me
place.
tear up like
Doesn't
this?
mean driving a car through the center of the thing. It means, hey man, you can't do that. No.
Wrong is
Standing up
wrong.
and taking your voice, and that's your story. And I stood with all, and let me say, I was inspired by all these women that came forward. That was like, hey, me too. This happened to me. This happened to me. And you know what? I cannot count the number of men that came forward. And it was like, man, wrestlers, NFL players, all this. They was like, you know, that happened to me. And they would come out. I would never tell people to make their stuff public. I would never, ever say, but you got to tell a counselor, a friend, somebody so that you can get past this. And I was just in the public eye, and I had that skill and ability to deal with it in the public because I'm always public.
How did it make you feel that some prominent people in our community made light of your situation?
I understood it. Man, you gotta know, I'm from Flint, man. You know, first of all, you grow up with, you in the hood, you know about what's wrong with you. You know what I mean? You got a big head, that's big head Johnny.
They gonna let you know.
You got big ears, that's ears, whatever. You know?
Glasses,
you know?
whoever.
It's like, you grow up with, you gotta be tough.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
I was
Trash
forehead.
talk, whatever, you get dunked on, you don't live it down.
That's
I mean,
why
that's
when
just the
y'all
way it
called me
was.
forehead,
And I started to realize,
that was decades
well,
ago.
they're gonna talk anyway.
Right.
So,
You know what I mean? So, let me give them something to talk about.
Facts.
But I started to realize, when I had so many black people come forward and say, thank you. Thank you. Hey, bro, thank you for coming forward and saying what happened.
right.
Because that happened to me. Man, people pulling me to the side. And that's why I know I was right. I knew. I said, no, this is a problem. I was going to parties, going to Hollywood stuff, man, and people pulling me to the side in tears. I just got to talk to somebody. And I'm going, listen, man, I knew when I went in front of the United States Congress and told that story in front of all those senators and the whole thing, I said, this is a major problem. And I knew my purpose. It was almost like it transcended football, Hollywood. Now I'm in the government circles and I'm going, wow. And if one person's life changed because of that, it was worth it.
You caught a lot of criticism, a lot of flack, a lot of heat with the Gabrielle Union situation. I think she was released from AGT, and it seemingly some of the tweets that you said about black communism. I think something to that effect. What was the terms? Black supremacy. And for the longest time, it seemed like black Twitter was on your side, the black society was on your side. But it seemed like when you didn't come to the defense of Gabrielle, it seemed like it switched on you a little bit. Yeah. And then it was tough because you're on an island. Yeah. You're on an island. How were you able to get over that, and then have you talked to Gabrielle since then?
Yes, yeah. Let me tell you, man, that is one of my biggest regrets. Again, I apologize publicly, but I up until this time, I never had talked to her. And this is the thing, man. And the problem I had was getting on Twitter.
Yeah.
And you can't have a nuanced conversation. This is the thing too.
Not in 180 characters back then, 140, now it's 280, but you still can't.
And this is another thing. You can't do anything angry.
Right.
And I got angry.
Right.
People was talking, the internet talks. They talk junk. They talk about my wife, they talk about my kids, and I got mad, and then you start tweeting. Angry tweeting is just like road rage. And it wasn't smart. And let me tell you a beautiful story. And I think this is going to sum it all up. And I really, really hope and pray that everyone understands, because this is such a beautiful thing. 2 years ago, my wife and I were celebrating our anniversary at
I love how much he talks about
it was at a music festival with Robert Glasper and all these cats. And we sit up there, and Dwayne Wade and Gabby come in. And now, I didn't know they were there. But my wife was looking behind me. She's like, honey. And I'm like, I look, and I said, oh, man. And I said, because I had apologized publicly, but we had never talked personally. Now, I knew through therapy, it's one of those things that you have to wait to be invited into people's circles, especially if there was anything wrong.
Yeah.
Man, Dwayne Wade comes up to me, and I get this tap on my shoulder. Dude, it was the most beautiful thing ever.
He seems like a beautiful,
he says, what's up, black man?
Stand-up individual. Like,
so
Dwayne Wade gets
black
a
king
lot
here.
of...
I just want to acknowledge you. I see another black king here. I just want to acknowledge you. And he gives me a hug. Wow.
Why am I so emotional today?
Hey, man, I'm broke. I'm sitting here going, Now, if anybody could have been like, man, bump this dude. I'm out of here. I said, Dwayne. I said, man, can I talk to you and your wife together? He said, man, come over here. Shannon. It was me, Gabby, Rebecca, and Dwayne. Just us four. No internet, no nothing. And I went right over. I said, I'm sorry, Gabrielle. Because there's things I didn't know.
Right.
I'm speaking angry. But there was so much to the story that I didn't even fully understand. And I screwed that up.
And
then the internet got involved. And then it was horrifying. And my wife, this is another thing, my wife was telling me not to say anything. No, don't. Right. But I'm Terry Crews.
His wife
this is where
like
you get arrogant. This is where you get prideful. And I was wrong. I was wrong.
It's a lesson in there.
I apologized to her face again. I said, Gabby, please accept this apology. And dude, she did. She gave me the biggest hug. Hugged my wife. Dude, we ate with them. We had lunch with them. Enjoyed this music. And I'm sitting here like, who gets this? Man, Dwayne and Gabby, I got nothing but the utmost respect. Because if anybody could have just been like, I ain't got nothing to say to them. But I said, what a move. Like, man, that transcended what I call, it was from heaven, man. It was like a whole nother thing. And a level of humility that it took for him to come over and just be like, give me that love like that, man. They will forever be. I'm in admiration. I'm in awe of him and her.
People.
And I'm just thankful. I'm thankful to call them friends. And I'm thankful that they gave me the shot to say that I apologize to their face without the internet, without all this junk. And it was hard, man. That whole time.
Yeah, because there's a lot of tweets going on. Black Lives Matter, but we got to make sure Black lives are better. With things of that. So it kind of morphed. You were like angry that people were saying these shots, and it kind of morphed into something.
You can't. And this is another thing, man. It's just that, all things. I had to learn to shut up.
Right.
Right. The hot take. You don't need to give a hot take.
Right.
There's no hot takes on everything. You reach a point where I'm in the public eye. Time for me to issue a statement.
Right.
Huh? No. In fact, don't say anything.
Right.
And let me tell you, man, just like I learned in NFL, how to really, really work hard. With this thing, I had to learn how to be quiet. You out of your league here. You know what I mean? This is too complex.
Right.
A conversation. There's too much nuance here for you to wrap it up in a tweet.
No.
You know what I mean? It's too much pain involved. And I hurt a lot of people. I hurt a lot of people with that. And it's, again, it's one of those things where I apologize, but I have to say, I'm like, I know in my heart why. Because I was angry.
Right.
And you can't speak out of anger.
You hurt me too, T, when you tried to boycott Majesty.
I was getting on everybody nerves back there.
You heard me like, I didn't close it down. I said, he out there trying to boycott, I'm going to be on the other side. He talking about close it down, open it up. Open it up.
He's ignorant.
That was my porn problem. You know what I mean? I've been very vocal about that. But that was me. You know what, man? Again, what can I say, man? And again, there's people who hate my guts to this day. I totally understand.
You ever been to Magic?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we were playing a
Hello. You gonna close it down if you don't got your people.
No, I've been there.
I know.
I mean, when I was in the league, that's the first stop in Atlanta, man. They'd be like, okay, we're going. You know what I mean? Again, man, my thing is, I gotta shut up. Even my wife was like, "You need to be quiet." I said, I think I do. And over the last couple of years, I've been learning. The problem is I was too quick with statements, and my ears weren't open, and I needed you to listen. And that's what I've been doing now. I just tell the story, my own story, my personal stories, and I've just been quick to listen. That's where I'm at.
That was a very powerful, moving video. I didn't expect to be on the verge of tears multiple times as watching it. And given the title, the explicit title, like obviously it was going to be a more serious conversations than the ones that I usually dive into. But one of the grand schemes, or one of the grand things that Terry stated that he was learning, is something that I can totally relate to, because there's been multiple moments in my life, more recently, even presently, where I'm like, I need to learn when to speak up. And this might be a more petty example. It could be me speaking with a peer or an associate or a boss or my mom or just my friends. Like, anyone, know when to speak your mind, say your piece, and just know when to let things ride, especially when it's petty annoyances, when you know you're going to get over it, or if you're just irritated or bothered by something. In those instances, you can let it ride and just let it go. But when there's something as serious as being assaulted or being abused or something of that nature, then you need to speak up. I think it's very beautiful how he was able to use his voice to empower other people, or his influence to empower others to say, you know, what happened to them, or even feel comfortable enough just because of his stature. Like, he's a big black man. Like, no one ever thinks this would happen to that kind of person. And if it does, typically we don't really hear these stories because either that man is uncomfortable, or they don't think they're worthy enough, or they just let their ego get to them. Like he said in the video, like, this was nothing, like, I'm just gonna let it ride, it's not gonna happen again, like it was, or they try to downplay it, like that didn't, maybe it was just a brush across me, like it didn't mean to go down like that. But I think that was very beautiful. I can't decide if him looking back onto his 10-year-old photo, because the craziest thing is when I'm speaking to people, or if I see someone's going through something, or if I'm even having a situation where the communication isn't great with another human being, I try to put myself not only in their shoes, but I try to picture them as they were as an adolescent or a younger person. Because when you do that, it's like you try to see where that vulnerability is coming from. You try to see, you know, their previous hurts or childhood trauma. Like why are your actions, what is the genesis of your actions and your words today? Like, what is the reason for all of this? But I don't know, when he started speaking about his younger self, I started thinking about myself as well. I've never been through that type of situation. Well, I don't know the nature of his situation. I've been in a situation where I've been around men a few times actually, where I was just uncomfortable and like being touched or grow up in a certain way where I was just super uncomfortable. Yes, but as far as being actually sexually assaulted and going like the whole nine, no, I have not, thankfully. But putting myself and looking back onto younger Jay, it's just like, no, I have to protect that young girl. I have to protect me. Like, I'm worthy of that. And if something does happen to me, I would hope I would have the courage to stand up for myself, not only for me, but for the people coming after me. And I just think that was so beautiful. Another beautiful part where I was on the verge of tears was when he was speaking about Gabrielle Union. And another thing about that couple, Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade, they get so much backlash, not only just because of who they are and the different principles that they live by, just to name a few, just like the different sexual encounters if you don't know, then I'm not here to explain. And also, what was the one? About the money situation, about Gabrielle Union splitting. Like, they just been in the limelight about so many different controversial topics, and also because of their daughter. I think, what's her name? Zay, something like that. I don't know. They're just always in the limelight for some type of reason that people turn negative. I don't know, but from the outside looking in, I think they're stand-up individuals. Like, I feel like they live life on their own terms. They give you what they give you, and they let you do whatever you want with that information. Like, I feel like a lot of people are so used to people living in such a orthodox manner. You get up, you go to school, you get married, you do this, your kids are supposed to look like this, your marriage is supposed to look like this, you as a couple are supposed to wear this, you're supposed to do these things, the man is supposed to pay for this, the woman's supposed to stay home. But they just live in such an unorthodox manner, and I love that because it works for them, and they seem like they're thriving, like they really do from the outside looking in. Of course, I don't know every single full detail, but I just like people who do what works for them, and it seems like they're thriving. So I think that was a beautiful portion. But if we revert back to the conversation when I was talking about me shutting up, like, that is something big for me, because I always say that I'm not a type of person who likes to prove myself, but at the same time, I have to let certain people know that I'm not gonna let you play with me. I'm not here to let you intimidate me. I'm not here to let you play games with me. I'm going to be very assertive with whoever I need to, whether it be a family member, a friend, a coworker, whoever. I'm very assertive. I don't think I'm rude. I don't think I'm dramatic. I don't think I'm rude. I don't think I'm a bitch, but I will be very bold and very direct with my communication, very assertive, to let you know I'm not the one you can pull a fast one on. So I'm learning every situation I don't have to be that way. And that's just because in the past I've been a person who is just like, you know, whatever, or I'll let certain shit slide. But now I've come to the point where I ain't letting shit slide. You can't even do cha-cha around me. That's what it's come to, but I'm trying not to be that way. I really did enjoy that video. I enjoyed how vulnerable Terry Crews was. I am probably going to watch the rest of the clips, or just watch the full interview, or even listen to it when I'm doing something else, because I really enjoyed the way that Terry Crews spoke. He spoke very intelligently, and you can tell, I think he said he spent like 8 or 9 years in therapy. You can tell that he's utilizing the skills that he's learned, and also that he knows himself very well. I love listening to, and I love communicating with people who know themselves. It's just a breath of fresh air. However, if you enjoyed this reaction video, be sure to give me a beautiful thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, tap that notification bell, and let me know if you want me to finish reacting to Club Shay, or just do that on my own time. However, if you have any other videos that you wish for me to react to, don't hesitate dropping that down in the comment section. Other than that, y'all know that I love you. You love yourself 10 times more. Have a beautiful day or night in this amazing, wonderful world. Ciao.